So for today's video, I do want to speak about Lionel Scaloni. And I know that this has nothing to do with FC Barcelona, but I am going to be creating a special section within this YouTube channel regarding like other topics in European football that has nothing to do with FC Barcelona, because sometimes I do have some things to say about certain things and I do want to talk about it, but I don't want to like place these videos somewhere else. I want to give you guys these type of services and hopefully maybe you guys might even enjoy it. So again, I want to talk about what Lionel Scaloni had to say. So this is a man that brought World Cup success to Argentina and to Lionel Messi. And ever since he won the World Cup, he has been saying a lot of things. And we have been either accepting what he said or denying what he said. Right? We were like, okay, like that's not true. Yeah, that could be true. But today, Scaloni says something that I think is very important for us to be well aware of in order for us to know, like, could this be the way for us to save football again? So this is what he said, and I quote, "There is an excess of analysis, too much. Nowadays, everybody knows how the opponent plays. There's so much information that in the end, the most important thing, which is the player, is almost remote controlled. In our case, I don't know about other teams, but there's a risk of losing the essence, taken away from the player who is precisely their best quality. If you're constantly telling them what to do, you run that risk. We convey just enough what we believe we need to transmit the truly important things so as not to overwhelm them with information. We are losing the essence of football, not only at a professional level, but also with the kids. My children play in Spain and are overwhelmed with information. They receive the ball and they're already being told what to do. There are a few dribblers because if they barely get the ball and you say pass it, imagine if Messi, when he was 80 years old, had been constantly being told by his coaches to pass it. We wouldn't love him today. It's impressive because football has become such a huge thing. Everyone reads, studies, and thinks that with that, they can already manage. If you tell a 7 to 8-year-old to make a diagonal run, cover defensively, he's 7 years old. Let him play with the ball, make mistakes, and when he's 14 or 15 years old, then we can start correcting. It's a message for the future. This is a sport, and the beauty of football should not be lost." So we're talking about a manager that did permit for Messi to make that amazing assist against the Netherlands, right? He is the reason why these players were able to express themselves because he allowed them. He is the reason why we also saw Julian Alvarez take on that ball through the whole middle of the pitch against Croatia and score the goal. He is also the reason why Enzo Fernandez had the permission to score a goal from, I think, inside or outside the box and into the top right corner against Mexico. The reason why we saw those amazing goals by Argentina and why they won the World Cup is because Scaloni allowed them to express the best version of themselves, letting them know that, you know, we trust you, we know what you could do, so bring that, right? So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just show to the world who you really are. Like, yes, of course, pay attention to me when we have to control the ball in the middle of the pitch and we have to be in certain areas. Yes, of course, but when we are in the attack, do whatever you feel like is right. Express yourselves. When I see a right back go up against a left winger and you want to take on that player, go ahead and do it. That is what Scaloni is basically saying. Like, show your true colors. You don't have to be so robotic. And let me tell you guys one thing. This is just my honest opinion. I believe that there was a moment in football that led towards almost everybody approaching these players in this way to become very robotic. There was this moment, and it does have something to do with FC Barcelona, and it is between Pep Guardiola and Ronaldinho. I think that was the moment that led towards the football that we see today. It was the moment Pep Guardiola sat down Ronaldinho and he told him, "You are no longer going to continue at my Barcelona club." And then we saw Pep Guardiola bring in new players from the academy and he built his team from there, which in a way did seem a little robotic. They were very much ordered what to do. Pep Guardiola was very strict. And so when the world of football saw that and they saw how dominant Barcelona became and they saw how he even dropped Ronaldinho, they probably said, okay, the blueprint is to reduce the amount of players that give out these special talents, and we only want robotic players because that is the blueprint. That is what brings success, is if you have these players playing in unison. So many coaches believe that that was the blueprint to success in football. But in my opinion, that was the blueprint for just Pep Guardiola and Barcelona at that time, and nothing else. It only worked for that time and based off the players that Guardiola had. That was not, and definitely not, the blueprint for football success in general. I do think that that was the blueprint for the death of football and nothing more. And that is why Scaloni sees this thing right now as a problem, seeing all these youngsters acting so robotic. And I think that me and you have talked about this before, is that sometimes these players, they don't express themselves as much as they used to. Even someone like Vinicius coming from Brazil is not as expressive as Neymar was. And so I do understand where Scaloni is coming from, because we have seen certain scenarios in games where a player had the ball, he's on a 1v1 duel, but instead he's being told to pass the ball diagonally or horizontally. And what you see is players passing it until it leads towards the pass that leads to inside the box to just get the tap in. Like, where is the color? Where is the character from these teams, from these players? It doesn't exist. And these youngsters are learning from it. This is the reason why I respect Luis Enrique's Barcelona so much, is that even after Pep Guardiola showed the blueprint to Barcelona's success, he still said, this MSN that I have here, Messi, Suarez, and Neymar, they're going to be allowed to express themselves. They can do whatever they want. I'm not going to teach them how to dribble, how to take on players. Let them do whatever they want. Like, yes, of course, listen to me when it comes to like defensive tactics and whatever, how to play from outside the back. But if we're attacking, if we have the ball, let them do whatever they want. Let them express themselves. They're good enough. They're world class. They can do whatever they want. They've been doing this since the age of 7. Of course, they're going to be good at this. Why take that away from them? That is why everybody respected the MSN and why everybody loved Barcelona's MSN, the front three, is because they brought joy, entertainment. Each one of those players showed their own character, even with Iniesta. Iniesta never lost his essence. He played beautiful football. And it comes by no surprise that those 3 players from the front of, the MSN, they were from South America. South America is full of color, full of character, full of essence. They never lose their true touch. But sometimes when you go into these teams where everything is extremely robotic, hence Vinicius or some other player, right? You start becoming less and less of yourself because you're ordered to do so much. Just look at Manchester City's Champions League win last year in 2023. Yes, they were dominant. Yes, they were powerful. Yes, they were amazing. They played good, dominant football. But were these players entertaining? Did they bring a show? Did they bring their true colors? No, we did not see that. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from that City team because that City team was amazing. Again, phenomenal. I loved it. But in 15 years, people will call out that Brazilian team of 2002. People will call out that AC Milan team of 2005. People will call out that Galacticos team of 2002 or 2003 from Real Madrid. People will call out the Barcelona team of 2015. They will remember those teams because of what they were and what they showed and what they stood for. Each player having their own character. It was amazing. And people will talk about it forever. That will inspire so many youth players and so many kids. And look, I live in the US, right? I am American. I was born here. I think that the US men's national team are falling into this trap right now. And I think that many other national teams are going through this right now that are making this mistake. I think that, yes, it will bring them results, but in terms of having essence, having flavor, and at the same time bringing success, I don't think we're going to go in that route because the youth players that I am seeing here today between the ages of 5 to 13 years old, all they're being taught is tactics, pure roles, pure robotic systems and stuff like that. They just say, you need to pass here. When you get to that certain area of the pitch, you need to pass it there. You're not allowed to take on this player because it's going to be too dangerous and you're going to be on a 5 versus 4 situation. Like, what? The youth players are going to be like, I can't do anything, right? So the current program that the U.S. men's national team has right now, yes, it is very educational. Yes, these players will learn something, but is it going to be the best for these youth players to truly become who they want to be? No, that is what's not going to allow you to birth a Neymar, to birth a Iniesta, a Zidane, a Ronaldinho. In other words, these kids need to embrace street football so they can express their emotions, to find themselves and try to see what type of style they enjoy the most. And just like Scaloni said, and once they turn 14, when they have that foundation, when they know their character, they know themselves, then you teach them the tactics and you readjust from there. So hopefully Europe embraces this as a whole. I think that South America is still safe. Central America is a little 50-50, but South America is safe. Europe though, they are the complete opposite. Luckily, Europe, right, and most importantly, England, the EPL, they're going to be introduced with a player named Claudio Echeverri, a young Argentinian player that is being compared to someone like Lionel Messi because of the essence that he brings in football. And hopefully he gets to express that under probably the strictest coach on earth, which is Pep Guardiola. So it's going to be very exciting to see. And so that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.